I'm Kendall Harris, the mayor, here today with Charles Benson, our Streets Department Director, and I've asked him to tell us about the landfill. We're unique in Bountiful. We have our own landfill.
So our landfill is an enterprise fund. So it has to generate enough revenue to pay for itself and all the equipment it needs and the closure costs and everything. And no tax money is used to subsidize the landfill.
Excellent.
So since we took over the landfill, it was a consensus of the South Davis County cities that they decided to go with Wasatch Integrated and was going to close the landfill. And so Bountiful City decided to take it over. And that's how we came up with the landfill.
Okay.
So as part of that, that's how it closed to just Bountiful City accepting refuge from Bountiful City limits.
So when Bountiful residents come, they'll be asked for their ID?
So we do ask for ID and where the refuge is coming from, making sure it's in the area that we're allowed to take it.
Okay. And we do accept green waste from surrounding cities?
We do accept green waste from every city in South Davis County that touch Bountiful City's borders.
Okay.
Okay. So currently our landfill projected life is till about 2085 with our current fill plan that's coming in on our current tonnage. Our current tonnage has been average about 96,000 tons a year, which is quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that equates to about 53,000 loads of either garbage trucks, refuge trucks, or residents coming down in there and bringing things down to the landfill. So it's quite busy at times.
It's well used.
So another key feature that we're doing is our compactor. We have one of the heaviest compactors out there, and we added a GPS monitoring system. So our driver knows exactly how compacted that refuge is.
That's great.
Other neighboring landfills are getting full, and so they have started doing transfers. They're shipping their garbage out of the valley, either to Box Elder, Tooele County, or another one down in Utah County, because we're running out of space in this valley. And that also increases the cost, and that's why we're so adamant about we've got to protect our landfill and make sure that we're using it efficiently and benefiting the residents of Bountiful. Another thing we're looking at is the monitoring of the landfill, environmental monitoring. We have to look for materials that we shouldn't be taking, we're not permitted to take, and making sure that we're trying to keep those out and keep in compliance with our permit from the state. Mm. We do that by load inspections that are coming out there. And another great thing we do is up at the city shops, we do our household hazardous waste collection to keep those chemicals out of the landfill.
So once a year, we'll accept residents' hazardous waste, and then if it falls outside of that time and they want to get rid of it more quickly, they can take it to...
We have a local vendor here in North Salt Lake, it's Veolia, and they will take, for a small fee, materials that they need to get rid of right now.
Okay.
We have wells that run the perimeter that we sample water periodically. We do gas sampling, what emissions that landfill is doing to make sure we're within our permitted areas.
Okay. Tell us what we do to divert things from the landfill to extend the life of the landfill.
So our biggest volume thing that we're doing to divert is the green waste program. All of that compost, we had 13,600 tons of material come in this last year that we diverted into composting. And we were able to sell 4,600 tons. But our biggest thing is we're keeping it out of the landfill. Another thing we do, refrigerators, anything that has Freon in it, we put in a separate area and we capture all that Freon, and then the metal left over is crushed and put into a bin that we send out for recycling on that way.
So it's a $20 fee if you want to bring a fridge or a freezer.
Yes, and that's what we're paying a vendor to come in to do that.
Okay.
As well. Mattresses are another thing. We're charging $15 per mattress, and that's what the vendors are charging us to recycle that product. But when we had 4,000 mattresses or box springs come in, that's a huge amount of volume in the landfill that we didn't use up.
That's great.
As you go to the scale house attendant will kind of inspect your load and look at it there. If there's some metal in there, we ask you to stop at the metal pile and throw that off before going to the pile and putting your other material there. We've also started an e-waste where you can bring a computer monitors, those type of things down in there. We have a separate area for that, and that will be crushed and recycled for the minerals. Another thing is our curbside recycling program has diverted 1,954 tons from the landfill into the recycling stream.
Excellent. So when people are putting out their recycling cans at home with their aluminum cans and cardboard and milk jugs, there's a complete list on the website of what can be recycled, but that is diverting waste from the landfill.
Diverting waste from the landfill and into a useful product, hopefully.
Excellent. Sometimes we have residents ask about if we can start a new program exclusively for green waste, like a separate can for green waste. And so I know you've looked into that for us, and what did you find out in looking at that?
We're looking at a substantial investment to do that. We're looking at 4 garbage trucks, 4 new employees to run that type of thing. Around $750,000 a year just in operating expenses. The initial purchasing of the trucks and the containers, we're looking at $2.7 million.
Wow. So at this point, it was cost prohibitive.
Cost prohibitive right now of starting that kind of a program.
Okay. Tell us about the future plan for the landfill.
So we're looking into a possibility of an alternate daily cover. Right now, we have to put 6 inches of dirt basically on the filling face every day to cover it up for the night, to make sure it's not blowing around or anything like that. There is another possibility out there of a spray-on material, which would be less than 1 inch, and that would stay in place. And we're looking at that and the costs on that as well. But that could add considerably years to the landfill.
Charles, you and your crews do a marvelous job for us. Thank you. We send our garbage to the landfill and we don't think much about it, but the way that you're taking care of things there in a responsible way helps all of us. And so thank you for what you guys do.
Well, thank you, Mayor.